Hi, friends. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Today I'm doing a live open session and I'll be sharing a beautiful presentation on how to paint flowers. I shall start with introduction, uh, history of flowers, painting since centuries, and how the paintings have evolved over the years, and how and why the flowers enchant us so. The nature is inspiring us at all times. Beautiful, different, varied hued colors of uh, flowers in different shapes and in different seasons. And now the air is so heavy, like just it's pregnant with the aroma of so many flowers. Just peep out of your window and you'll see such beautiful flowers abounding. This is nature's bounty. So despite uh, our daily challenges, despite our many health issues, despite the COVID lockdown, despite many struggles of our mundane life, the flowers are like a breath of fresh air. And the nature has opened its doors for us, inspiring us, inspiring we as artists, inspiring the poets, inspiring everybody. And just a single flower can bring so much of positivity in any room, any space, anywhere. So that's why I decided I shall share my this session with you all. Okay, and it is a very valuable session, and lots of research has gone into um, to get this data cumulative and present it beautifully uh, to you all. And I shall start with the screen sharing. Let me start with the screen sharing. I won't take much of your time. And today is also the concluding day of my 2 month long proficiency in art course. And uh, so this is open session for those students as well, so that they can chat, they can interact, and we all can interact. Okay, and the topic is dear to me and dear to all of you. So I'll start screen sharing and the PPT will start. So this is my session, painting flowers in watercolors. And the background is beautiful uh, uh, peony painting in watercolors. Now it is beautifully lodged in a wonderful house, wonderful home. So, what are flowers? We all know, nothing new to tell you, but they are the universal symbols of beauty. Beauty, love, affection, comfort, and since ages, the flowers are displayed and represented widely in all the arts, be it a dance, be it theater, be it cinema, be it poetry, visual arts, and performing arts. Everywhere, the flowers play a very important role. And many of the most famous artists in history have painted quite a substantial number of flower paintings. They have done a substantial number of flower paintings. This practice of floral painting has inspired artists to create beautiful and graceful paintings since time immemorial. And the different artistic movements have contributed to this genre of flower painting, from Renaissance to Impressionism and to this modern era as well. The flower paintings are very attractive and appealing, and we directly connect with them. Our soul connects with them, and it brings a smile to your face. As soon as you see them, it brings a smile to your face. We paint flowers simply, it is a because it is a pleasing activity and a soul enriching experience. And flowers, this is a fun, accessible subject, and you can explore all the elements and principles of art in a flower painting. You can make, and you have so many liberties. You can paint it loose, you can paint it tight, you can add so many textures, you can do so much, you can create abstract work, you can do so much, pouring, uh, splattering, so many things you can do, and you can create beautiful flower paintings. And uh, people have been enjoying and painting flowers of different shapes and sizes and colors for thousands of years. And these flower paintings, they exude and they radiate so much of life and beautiful nature, and they impart a dynamic beauty to any room where they are residing. So no room is complete without a flower arrangement. You may be having a single rose. Even that will add a, a spark of positivity to that room. It will become the soul of the room. Then watercolor painting of flowers. You know, uh, when you paint flowers, it is important for you to capture the general shape of the flower. Instead of going into the details, try to capture the general shape of the subject, which is more important than the details, mundane details. Don't uh, enter into the details, okay? And uh, for that, you will need to know about the different species of flowers. Rose petals are a bit different than the iris. Iris is different than the sunflower. This is the way most of the flowers, the petals have different shapes and different arrangements of the petals around the stamen. Peony has a different way, tulip has a different way. So anatomically, we have to be correct. Of course, you have liberty, lots of artistic liberty we have, but the anatomy of the flower, we have to know the basic or the anatomy, and then we can take liberties. After knowing the anatomy, then we can do whatever we want. We can twist and turn and tweak it to make it more interesting, okay, the way we want it. Then different color schemes, composition and brushwork, they all make the painting more impactful. And and there are different ways how you can create the background, and that adds the depth to the painting. Uh, so the background, how to create the background with depth and shape of the leaves and petals is very important in a floral painting. Flowers are thought to be like a gentle person. Flowers are supposed to be very clean, pure, alive, healthy, gentle creatures in a dirty environment. Like the Chinese lotus flower. It is a symbol of creative power and purity amidst the muddy, murky, adverse surroundings. So, a good Chinese lotus flower painting symbolizes the miracle of beauty, light, and life. And this, when communicated on an emotional level, is helping us in spiritual and practical understanding of one of the important religions of the world, you know, Taoism. These are two paintings I'm starting with. One is a bouquet and other is a group of peonies. Most artists, why they paint flowers, why I'm sharing this session with you, why I love painting flowers. Why? Because it is a pleasing exercise, it's a pleasing endeavor, and it is it is fun making the flowers on the paper, and the thing is, if you want to paint a portrait, you need uh, a live model. Okay, you need a live model, or you have to hunt for a copyright image, reference image, photograph. But flowers, you can just get a bunch of flowers, place them, and you can make them, and you can manipulate the background, you can manipulate so many things. So, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on that. Okay, and, and you make a beautiful flower painting, and uh, people will, before you make it, people will vouch for it, people will buy it, you know. I realize I make so many flower paintings, and most of them are commissioned. Most of my flower paintings are, as soon as I make them and post them, they are gone, people love them, people buy them, and they display them so beautifully in their homes. So that is why it is not very difficult to learn flowers. And once you understand the anatomy of the flower, how you are to arrange the flower, how you are to arrange the petals around the central stamen and pistil, it will be very easy for you. And a keen observation, you have to observe it very properly so that you can capture the essence. And lighting, you can modify the lighting, you can use certain props, you can use a beautiful vase, or you can place some other objects uh, nearby to make it more beautiful. And then you can play around with the background. Then there is a very ugly, I just for your information, thistle is a ugly thorny plant with a beautiful flower. It is the symbol of Scotland, and the thorns, they are symbolizing both the evil as well as the protection. Then there is another term which you will come across when you study about the history of flower painting. There is a term called rose melting. That means rose or flower painting. This there is the origin of rose melting was in Norway. It was sort of decorative folk painting of Norway, and from Norway, in the 18th century, it was it came down to it migrated to rest of the Europe and then all the way to America. So this was part of the Baroque culture, Baroque style, Regency and Rococo. They were introduced to the Norway's rural culture, and then this Norwegian Rosemaling, it went to rest of the Europe and then to travel to US. This is the Luscious tulips. This was the workshop I did in January, and this was the reference I made, and the participants also made beautiful tulips, And now a little bit about a few flowers, before we start with the painting of the flowers. When you are going to make a flower painting, first you decide which flower you are going to make. And, you know, depending upon your mood, you will select a flower. Depending upon your mood, you can select the color. Okay. So this is like this gladiolus in this part of India. This time, the winters and early spring, we see a lot of gladioli, and it is symbolic for remembrance, faithfulness, and sincerity. And these stay for a long time, and they bloom for a long time, and they symbolize strength of a character and easily available, and you can very well paint them. You can paint them beautifully and quite easy to paint. There are different shades. They are available in different shades, starting from white to oranges to yellow to very exotic shades also. Then something about the rose, which is uh, rose. Who doesn't know about the rose? So it is a flower of romance, happiness, love, gracefulness, gratitude, and gentleness. Depending upon the color of the rose, if it is yellow, it is for joy, happiness, and friendship. If it is for love, it is red. So um, the different colors are symbolizing different emotions. Then I'll just take the names of 10 famous artists who made 10 famous flower paintings. I'll start with Gustav Klimt. He has a famous painting of sunflower. Then Henri Matisse. Um, he is very famous for his flower painting. Then Kisoma, then Andy Warhol, then Margareta Haberman, then Monet, then Vincent van Gogh, the Blue Iris of Vincent van Gogh, very famous painting. Then Monet, Claude Monet, Water Lilies, beautiful painting of by Monet. And then Georgia O'Keeffe, um, her sensual flowers, they are very characteristic of Georgia O'Keeffe. Then Roy Lichtenstein, black flowers. So they're very famous 10 flower paintings, and I could obtain just 5 of them. And the first one is Vincent van Gogh. Then lower one is the Andy Warhol, and then Margareta Haberman. This beautiful bouquet. See, such a beautiful detailed work has been done. Then Matisse, his typical flowers, and the sensuous uh, mm, flower by Georgia O'Keeffe. So now you see, these are flowers, but everybody has used his or her perception to paint the flower. You know, the colors they use, the way the brush stroke has been used, the way the background is there. Okay, so everybody, we all see the same thing, but we perceive it differently, and that is the beauty of art. And we make it differently, and that is more enhancing. This is art, and everybody's art is so unique. So if we have a same gladulite, we are five people sitting here, then five people will paint it differently, the way we perceive. Okay. Now I'll give you a few hints about how you go about painting the flowers. A step by step of painting flowers. So it is basically when you want, whenever I feel low, whenever I feel depressed, and I want to relax, and I want to fill my senses with beauty and colors, then I opt for a flower painting. Uh, so it is basically the flower painting. When you paint flowers, it opens the doors to relaxation. You unwind, you relax, you are in a very peaceful zone, very peaceful creative zone. Okay. And the thing is, you should have a keen observation with proper instruction, guidance, and lots of passion. The thing has to come from that urge to paint, has to come from within. Then you can create a unique piece of artwork. And maybe you didn't know you had that thing in you, but with careful observation and proper observation and that urge to paint, you can do wonders. This is an artwork made by me, and you can still see the cup with the porcelain cup with half of the tea still inside, and I made it early morning, one day early morning on getting up, and this is the nice lace cloth on my bedside table, and this small pot was there, and so I can go back. I'm seeing it. I can just go back and visualize those moments. So uh, today I shall be giving you very simple tips and techniques, and I have explained them very simply and very nicely so that you too can make beautiful floral designs. The importance of brush is it uh, cannot be overemphasized, and we have to have sorry about the spelling mistakes. We have to have a variety of brushes, especially uh, a round brush, a flat brush, a mop brush. These we need, and supposing we are to do the uh, sharp corners, then we need the angular brush as well. Or you can manage even with uh, round brush. Round brush, you have number two, number four, and number 10. If you have these three, you can manage a maximum number of flower paintings. Amongst the brushes, the round brush is most versatile, and the finer one, the lesser number is used for details, and the bigger number is for broader strokes. Uh, the flat brush you need for washes and for background, where you want, if you want to create some abstraction. Now, the most important thing in flower painting for me is, and I'll advise for you also, the best quality paper. Please do not compromise on quality of watercolor paper. because they can make or break the floral artwork, because you will need to capture the essence of the flower. You need lots of wet on wet technique. So normal paper will not handle, will not, will collapse when you use lot of water. So it is advisable, and I always use the best quality watercolor paper, that is 300 GSM Archie's cold pressed paper, which is 100% cotton. If you obtain, if you can have these specification in Strathmore or in Fabriano, then it is okay. Uh, since I am doing, earlier I used Fabriano, I have used Rostro, Canson, but I didn't get good results, and especially because I do the commission work, so I use the best paper, and I believe, what from my experience, Archie's 300 GSM, that is, I use that only cold pressed for my watercolor paintings. And you, in this floral painting, water quantity, it should be used very carefully. To get the best result, you should be trying out the different amount of color mixtures in water, and you should see how they are spreading on the paper. Okay, keep a strip of paper on the side, and before you apply on your master sheet, you use it on the side sheet to see how much they are spreading. This is my work. Even this has been sold, and this is, I have created a bokeh effect on the background, and this is with crisp edges in the front, and that is, the background is blurred. That is how you create the depth. You know, this flower is dark and popping in the front, and as it is, so there is foreground, there is midground, and there is background. The background is receding, so the flower is popping out. Then another thing is, when you are working, you must work from light to dark. So initially, your color will be, the paint that you use is more diluted, and slowly you reduce the amount of water as you proceed. Ideally, use best watercolors available. I use, regarding myself, I'm using Mijello Mission Gold and Daniel Smith colors only. Sometimes you may use artist, whatever colors you use artist quality colors, the best colors, which will be long lasting. For commission work, you should use the best thing, because you have to give value for money. So for your practice, you can use camel artist color also. They are also okay for practice. To start with, you can use them, artist color. So please practice with your brush on paper with different brush size, pressure, amount of water, and wetness level. So you have to practice the technique beforehand, uh, and prepare a thumbnail, so that when you do it on the master sheet, it comes out well. Friends, you can chat with me, or you can write. If you are liking it, if you're enjoying it, please send me a heart or thumbs up. Then different materials which are needed. These are, you use round brush, size 2, 6, and 10. Then watercolor, we use 100% cotton, 300 GSM, cold pressed, Arches paper, and we use artist quality paints. Use a palette commonly available in the stationery market. Use 2 glass jars of water, then paper towel and the rags. So this is all that has been shown in this slide. Then the how you go about it. So first of all, you select a reference picture or a reference flower, what you are going to make. Okay, place it in a proper position with the background, what background you are going to make. You can, or it can be from imagination also. Okay, you can make something from your imagination, or you can take a reference picture, copyright free reference picture, or you can have fresh flowers and keep them in front of you, and then you can make them. Before you proceed, make a strategy how you are going to do it. Okay, what colors, it has to be planned. If you plan, then you don't fail. We fail because we don't plan. So make a strategy. Then I always emphasize on a thumbnail, and I always make a thumbnail. Make a small thumbnail, how you are going to place the thing, what colors you are going to use, okay, and what size, whether it should be in the landscape format or in the portrait format. Okay, what colors are you are going to use, what background you are going to use, is it looking nice? So you have to plan, make your thumbnail. Your thumbnail is your mini painting, you know. It is your mini painting, and you will understand how you are to go about it. When you make the thumbnail, it tells you lot many things so that you don't commit those errors when you are painting. Okay. So when you compose your flower painting, please don't forget the guidelines of composition. Try to keep the rule of thirds. Remember to keep the rule of thirds and try to make one focus. Say you have a bunch of flowers. What you do is, of course, if you are doing botanical illustration, then you will be painting all of them. But if you want, what you can do is you focus on one flower, and that on that you invest your time and energy, and rest of the flowers you just, they are there, but they are, you do not need to give them the, do no need to put on the details. So you emphasize on one flower or on your focus, and you do your best work on it, and rest are a little out of focus. That will add more character, and it may become your signature style. Okay, so you focus on some areas, blur out rest of the areas. That will make the painting, because what we are going to do is we are going to paint our perception of the flower. This is not photograph of the flower. Photograph is there, but what you see from the photograph, that you are going to portray, that you are going to make. Okay, so it doesn't have to be, maybe some of you want to do realism or hyper realism, then it's a different thing. Otherwise, uh, this can be your take, that you focus on a particular portion of the flower or one flower, and rest of the things are out of focus. It looks very pleasant and a very interesting composition. Okay, so that is you focus like that, and then overlapping. When the petals are overlapping, a shadow will be there, and once when you do overlapping, that will make the painting look three-dimensional. Okay, otherwise the petals will look flat. We are the our Acumen is in creating a lifelike illusion. We have to create an illusion of depth in the artwork without there being actual depth. And how you can achieve the depth? That is by overlapping and blurring. All these will help you to create more depth. And then shading. You should know from where the light is coming. On other side, you will show the shadow and the darkness. Okay. So you start with a light drawing with a pencil, and please, because mostly we are our watercolor is a transparent medium, and we have to maintain the transparency. So you, if you have to sketch, do it very lightly with a 2B pencil. Do it very lightly. Don't do it very harshly. If it is too harsh, then the pencil lines will show, they look very ugly. So try to use the pencil very lightly. Okay. You can just make out the outlines. Okay. Then before you proceed, when you made a thumbnail, you design your color palette, and on a paper strip, uh, the way I told you, you take the which colors you are going to use in the which flowers, which colors, the greens, which greens you are going to use. Okay, so you are to select at least three colors, three primary colors you use: a shade of red, a shade of yellow, and a shade of blue. These three you must use. Okay, try to use, unless it is monochromatic work. Monochromatic artwork is also there. They also look very elegant sometimes in just grays or in sepia and white. They look also good. But normally you can, to start with, you can use at least three colors. Then you mix water into your watercolor pigment, and as you know, you by now you all know the how the paint consistency, the wetness level of the paper, and wetness level of the brush. All these can make or break the painting. So you have to keep whatever you have learned till now in mind when you paint a watercolor flower. And one more thing is, when you are painting, especially in if it is wet on wet, then you must tilt the paper, the working surface, to a 30-degree angle. Okay. If you are doing botanical illustration, then flat you can do. But if you are doing watercolor technique like wet on wet, then it has to be tilted. Otherwise, the water will accumulate, and there may be back runs, and the paper may be destroyed. When you start, you must fix with the paper tape, with the masking tape, fix the paper on the board or on the surface where you are going to keep it. And then you start painting the flower. You start with the light color, and you add to try to create the shape and contour of the petal on the outer side. One thing is, avoid sharp margins. Wherever you see there is going to be a sharp edge, then you use the brush, moisten brush, and you gently scrape it so that it doesn't have a sharp margin. Then slowly, layer by layer, you add darker colors. Then you add background in layers, and you let the colors diffuse into each other. You know, let the watercolors do their role. First, you will be trying to make the contour of the petal, okay, on the outer sides, and then you add darker colors, because the color that is nearer, the petal that is nearer to us will be darker as compared to the petal which is away from us. So you add darker color, that means this is the petal nearer to us, and then you can add warm color in the core of the flower, center of the flower, and then you can make the background, the background you can use make to give contour to the, like negative painting, like you do negative painting, in the same manner you can add background in layers, and the colors, let the colors diffuse gently into each other. That will give a magical appearance, and then you let it dry. You can add layers to give the sense of depth, and that will make the flower pop out more prominent. Then be brave, be fearless, be confident, and once you complete it, then you post and share on the Facebook page in the group. Okay. The steps may vary slightly with different flowers and different compositions depending upon the watercolor technique. You can do in with wet on dry also. Okay. And there you will get crisp edges and the way you want it. You have all the liberty. I do it wet on wet mostly. You can do it wet on dry and create a background the way you want to. So there are so many options available. I will be telling you one next time. I'll be telling you one or two options. You may use whatever option you want to. Then in the end, you will put a signature on the right side and then share your work. So I wanted to share something. You can all try loose floral painting. They are quite fun and they are easy and doable. But you need to practice a lot to get the adequate shapes, proper shapes. This is my work in progress. This is a loose watercolor floral painting, and always start with major shape, bigger shape. Okay, and start with the bigger shape and then move to from large to small. Okay, and remember to keep the contrast levels more. You know, more than the color, the contrast matters. Contrast. What is contrast? Contrast value, contrasting values, light against dark, then it will pop out more. Okay, only then we'll be able to know this is the center or this is the outer side. So always work from light color to dark color, and the most important thing is do not go too dark too fast. My mentor told me to never forget this. Don't be impatient and don't go too dark too fast. Watercolor is like meditation. You cannot hurry it. The water will flow on its own. You will introduce the water and the color, and it will mix on its own. So, and you can create beautiful works by letting the watercolor do their own magic. Okay. So, whenever you start for a loose floral paintings, you pre-wet the paper and make it satiny shine. Let it have a satiny shine all over, so that, and then you drop the paint gently and create petal shape. Okay. Then add a second darker color. Okay, and then you let it mix with the first color. Then in the center, you add a warm color and let it flow down the stem. Okay, because the stem has a little bit of the same color, the shadow comes there, and don't worry if the water is flowing down the stem. Now you touch the accent color and also enter the color for the green for the leaf shape. How you'll obtain green? You can just mix blue and yellow and you'll get a wonderful green. Then you adjust the shape. Just remember, keep on cleaning your brush and don't, uh, and you must take care that the color does not mix accidentally. Okay. You can gently contour the uh, mm, shape of the petal or the leaf and with the brush. Okay. And then if you want to create some other effect, you can splatter with a toothbrush on the background, or you can introduce some texture with, say, a sponge or um, or aluminum foil or a cling wrap that you can do for the background. Okay. And so you can create lively shapes, patterns and colors which make loose watercolor painting come to life without adding too much of details. In loose watercolors you do not have to make too many details. Okay. And it is actually a fun and relaxing way. You once you do it, it is very addictive. And one more thing for you, since you are all aspiring artists, always record your work in progression. Okay. You click the photograph after you do one step, let it dry, then you click photograph. So this is your, then you will understand how you have proceeded, how from a blank paper it is, you have prepared a beautiful loose floral watercolor. Okay. So you enjoy the loose flowers in watercolor and you can develop your own style by playing with color. Okay. Post your work on Facebook group fearlessly and confidently. So friends, wasn't it fun, easy and doable? I hope it is fun, easy and doable. And won't you feel fearless, confident and transformed? When you Today, when you started this session, you were all worried about how we are going to make the flowers, but they are really easy. You just need a good paper. You just need your passion, uh, a bunch of flowers, and you can start with nice colors and you have the materials and you can start with the loose flowers. Okay. And just uh, follow the compositional guidelines and uh, observe the wetness level of paper, colors, and the brush properly. Okay. And please always record the different stages of your work. Okay. And you can work in progress, you mark them work in progress, number one, number two, number three, number four. So, friends, this is, I hope you have all enjoyed, and this is happy. So, this is happy flower watercolor painting. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed this open session and it was useful for all of you. I shall be giving a demonstration or a video next time when we meet. Okay. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day and enjoy the flowers. Bye.